Mic check, 1, 2. This ain't a pool track or crew. This warehouse 15, where legends speak true. 3 rings on my fingers, gold medals gleam. But under this armor, life ain't always what it seemed. Yeah, we trained hard, pushed limits, reached the peak. But the pressure cooker boiled, man, so weeks I couldn't speak. Sponsorships.
Welcome to the Warehouse 15. It's another day, another dollar. We don't have a guest today because we have 3 of the best guests here today. How you doing, Coach Moreno?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited to be here. I got myself a little long weekend, spring break here in Miami for all the kids, and so I'll have a couple of days off. So I'm relaxing today outside. I finished my work early. I'm about to go to the beach tomorrow. And Sunday, next time you see me, you like my shirt, baby? Come on. Can you read?
Uh,
Can you read it?
uh,
Can you read in
I'm
Mexican?
I'm loving the shirt, and I want to thank you for my peak shirt that you left here this weekend. It's in the laundry. Otherwise, I'd be wearing it right now. How you doing, TJ?
What's up, sir? I'm chilling. Not again, always secondary on the weather there. Looking all nice over there in Miami, but I'm in North Carolina, the best place on earth according to Master Perez himself. So I'm super excited to be here as always, and let's not miss another week. Last week was on me, people. Got a little busy, but we're back, so let's go.
That threw me off a little bit,
I
man.
know.
We love you, TJ. We love you, TJ.
Hey.
Oh, look at Mr. Perez. Look at that. That's so sweet.
Yeah. So what's up?
Well, we missed last week, and that was not due to anyone's fault in particular. We're busy on demand for seminars and all sorts of cool stuff. And Master Moreno was out here, but here's we got a shout out to one of our favorite. First, thank you to Budo Brothers for sending me a jacket. As always, we appreciate your love, and thank you for that kind email you sent back to me. Also, I want to thank Century Martial Arts, who has always been a big advocate for our sport, for us as people, and always took care of us. Well, took care of 2 or 3 of us. So he took care of me and Juan, and David Wall, who's president of Century, and Mike Dillard Jr., who's running it as well. I want to thank you both for sending Master Coach Moreno the following products. Master Coach.
Yeah. Send me the original rip cords, the bungee cords. I bought some. I've had cords forever, but I was looking for them again, and I reached out to you, and you hooked me up with these guys, and so they gave me a couple of each color. So actually, I already used them on Tuesday. So
the problem is the rip cord, which was designed by me way back in the day. We made it too well. We made it last forever. The ones that I have from 20, 30 years ago still working.
I still have a couple.
Yeah, they don't make them like Apple phones. My Apple phone stops working after a year, so I can get a new one. But again, thank you to our sponsors. Go ahead.
A quick shout out too. I was in I got to give credit where credit's due, and sometimes I know we always don't agree on things, but I was out there in the San Francisco area. One of my former athletes, James Howe, we did a little fast camp out there, and the shirts were actually provided by Tusa Gunny Kong. So I mean, shout out to him. He hooked us up with some nice dry fit shirts, gave me a nice jacket. So thank you, Gunny, and Tucson as well. So,
honey, can you get that shirt out of my laundry basket, please? Yeah, we need that. We're gonna use that one to clean the car. We'll save the logo. We'll save the logo.
Also, I gotta give a shout out to my boy TJ because he's been waiting for some shirts, and I just got I sweetened the pot a little bit. I'm gonna have to hook him up with one of these right here.
Let's go.
One of these right
that
here.
One right there. Let's go.
I'll send you. I'll give you both.
Why? Thank you, sir.
Well, we got all our people in it, Century for sure. But I've got
the best.
Yeah, they're the best. But Muto just sent me some really great stuff as well. They have this blue uniform that I love to wear, and Muto's got a new thing coming out. James over at Muto, James Kim, just a wonderful family, and always supporting the California Taekwondo scene. We have our regionals coming up, and I think he's going to be out there as he always is, doing the extra time. So, but TJ, we're going to get you some government cheese or something because
I'll keep keeping me out on the side. That's okay. When I start making my stuff, I'll make sure I send y'all first because that's just what I do. But you guys,
I got some cheese. It's not government cheese. I got some Trader Joe's.
You guys remind me. I did do something cool this weekend. I actually I did an actual training seminar at Master Kim's World Class Taekwondo, which is in Greensville, South Carolina. So it's about 2 hours away from me. So the goal this weekend was to kind of get a lot of people in that area together and kind of start, a following with developing sport Taekwondo just in the surrounding area. So we had a decent number show up for the first one. Their facilities was amazing. So I had a good time.
Yeah, I heard it
Yeah, it
great.
was a good turnout. I mean, it was a good turnout. It ran pretty well. We used the electronic system. It was, I can't remember the name of it, but there's one system that you can run data or KPMP on. Like it's like some hybrid system, but it worked pretty well for training. So I wanted to say thank you to them. It was definitely had an awesome time and definitely looking forward to the next one. I mean, a lot of people showed interest in kind of doing it again. So hopefully next couple of months we'll be back at it again for the North Carolina, South Carolina area. So thank you guys that showed up.
Nice.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I know there's a lot going on in the Taekwondo world that we have to get to, but let's start it off. I'm going to throw the topic out to my boys. What do you want to talk about first?
I think we should talk about some groundbreaking things. First time in history for the IOC, we have a new president, and it's a female, and I think it's you know I don't want to say it's about time, but obviously there's been a lot of successful people in the IOC, and I think it's good to have some change, and it's good to. I mean, heck, we talk about this all the time. I know we rag on sometimes even our own sport in the WT. We've had the same leadership for a long time, and forget about if it's good or bad. It gets a little stale, and sometimes you just need some new blood, And I think it was time, and a former Olympic athlete from New Zealand, I believe, right? Or Australia, New Zealand, and medalist, on multiple medals and multiple Olympic games, and so I think it's awesome, and I think it could be a trend as far as getting more female leadership, in the IOC and abroad. I know that there's some talking we can talk about later about a few new presidents coming up within our sporting taekwondo world that could happen, and I think it'd be good, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I don't know much about their selection of but how long does the current president, like, do they have like a certain number of terms or how does that work?
They get 2 terms, and I want to say, I got to remember, but I think it's 6 years.
Oh.
So Bach was
Right.
president for a while, and the IOC is no different than any organization. They control and rule the roost, and the way they do that is by they hold the purse strings, right? So they can make stuff happen by the way they do what they do, and as doing what they do. Oh, look at that beautiful rainbow behind me. Let's keep it rainbowy. So it's the way they do it, though, is they do it by the money purse. So these guys all have the purse in front of them. They use it, and as such, they're able to curry favor. So over the years, what you see in most of these organizations, as always, is they have the ability to gain favor with the countries that have the most power inside the movement. And it was interesting to see Coventry make it through because,
And she's not Zimbabwe, not New Zealand. I'm sorry. I don't know what.
yeah,
I don't know what I
Zimbabwe.
was thinking.
Yeah, well, she sounds her accent makes her sound like that, but she was preferred by Bach, the current sitting president, and she was up against Samaranch's son, and Samaranch
Really?
was the original gangster. Yep. And then the guy that everybody who I thought would get it was Sebastian Coe, who was the runner from Great Britain and a
Yeah.
very political insider. But the challenge is the politics of the IOC are very similar to, if not as bad as some of the others. It's really a fiefdom of royals and people with a ridiculous amount of money,
It is.
and they curry favor, and that's how you end up being elected. So whether she does great things or not, I'm not a big fan of. I think you pick people on their ability to get stuff done, meritocracy, not based on relationships. So
This
it'll be interesting to see what she's done. But Bach made tremendous mistakes while he was there, including the things he did with Taekwondo, the things he did with some of the games, and all this other nonsense. And to be frank, breakdancing. Will we ever get Ray Gun out of our mind,
she was raw. She got moves. The moves.
dude?
Were you gonna say something, TJ? I was gonna say
No, go ahead.
something.
You got it. You got it. I was about to ask another question about
No,
that.
I was gonna say, like, first of all, you're right. I mean, about this whole, it's who and quite honestly, most of the people that you talk about, they have a good amount of money as well, or they got their, people behind them pushing them, and it shouldn't be like that. So I agree with you. It should be based on merit. Hopefully, she was. It's interesting that Bach kind of supported her and she went through. So we'll see what that says. But I heard I read something, I think a couple of days, I don't know when I read it, but because it's been about 10 days, I think. But she mentioned something about the opening up talks or inclusion possibly with the Russians again. So I think that's interesting because that's been a hot topic, because Bach kind of just whoop, kind of pushed it to the side and kind of used the word political thing. And I don't know. I mean, I understand that, but I mean,
I
the
didn't like
Olympics
it.
ideally was
I didn't
supposed to
like
be
it.
about me neither.
Nah,
Well, I didn't like it for our sport because
nah.
some of the best athletes were not able to go in there, and they had nothing to do with that. And so, matter of fact, some of them that were in the military, same thing. They had nothing to do with it, and they weren't able to compete after they had already qualified.
I
Not,
just
not just with the
it was
rankings,
just
but I
weird with
mean,
the back and forth
it was
too. It
bad.
was even the back and forth. You heard they were going to be able to get in. They fought a couple tournaments, and all of a sudden they weren't going to get it. Like it was just too much. Like either yeah, I don't know.
And then some of them they were registering under some island.
Yeah,
These Russians were, and the WT let that happen.
I,
And then all of a sudden, so it's kind of like if you're gonna let them in. If you're not gonna let them in, don't let them in. But um, I don't know. I think anyway,
yeah, that
it's a
sucks.
hot topic, so she's gonna be thrown into the fire right away with that. Yeah, I think that's
So,
pretty
did
interesting.
you think the Russians should be let in, or
For our,
I
I
did,
did. I mean, for our sport and the timing of it, and when everything went down, like it was just, it didn't make any sense.
and it's weird.
It didn't make any
Herb, I
sense.
don't want to get political about the Ukraine and for Russia should be there. I get it. We can't let people in the world just go and occupy, but I mean, depending who you talk to, that's I'm just talking from a sporting event.
Yeah,
From a sporting event. What did a guy that does taekwondo have anything to do with that? And I know it's tough. I know it's a hot topic, but if you ask me, I would have let the athletes go in. I would have been more kicking people out when they were doping.
yeah.
When certain countries were getting smashed by doping, and all of a sudden they were back in, no problem.
Wasn't that
I got more problem
wasn't
with
that
that
Russia
than
too?
it was
So
Russia.
maybe that played all. Maybe
Russia
that
and
kind of, yeah.
China?
Maybe that all tied into the decision. I don't know. Like I don't know. That's
Maybe,
weird.
but say it if you're gonna
Yeah,
say
nah, I
it.
feel
But
you.
it's funny because Herb, you talked about like honestly, maybe I wasn't paying attention to the IOC world, but I didn't even know the new election was going on.
Yeah,
And
me
so
neither.
it leads me to a kind of a side topic that I saw like just recently that USA Taekwondo was looking for athlete advisory committee people. And like
Mm,
if I when I from the time that I saw the post, and I could have been late, it was like 4 days to nominate yourself and get elected. I was kind of like, man, see, that's the kind of crazy things that I think should be out a lot earlier. If you really are concerned and you want to have athletes advocates, shouldn't you be posting that 6 months before, 5 months before, not a week, not 10 days, because look at me, I didn't see it. I see it, and by the time I read it, I thought it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was like 4 days. It was last week. So I don't know. Sometimes I feel like these governments or these NGBs or these organizations they they say, yeah, we're doing everything by the book. We have this and this committee, but it's kind of if you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. And so that's how they keep control and they just build um their strength. I mean, I got Herb in this position, TJ's in this position, and I don't know. I just think that if you're a corporation, if you're like a private corporation, you could do what you want. I mean, I can't get in Apple. I can't get in Google just because it's not fair. No, I got to get in there somehow by merit or through a job. But when you have you know, these non for profits, I don't think they should be that locked in where you can't break through the walls. You know, and I think I mean I'm kind of sliding over here to the athlete advisory committee right now within the USAT. They they should have been if they're so athlete centered, they should have been talking about this for a long time to get quality um, people that wanted to be involved. You know what I'm saying? Not people that just met a deadline. That's my 2 cents on that. Herman, I know
The
you're
way,
big on that too.
well, the way you keep power, and you got to remember this comes from back in the old USAT days. The way you keep power is by not letting power be disseminated, right? And if you don't let power be disseminated, then you keep owning the power. So one of the ways is through controlling information, and there's no doubt that they're controlling the information. So when you control information, especially when it comes to access information, then people will continue to do what they always do, which is they won't pay attention, they won't care because they don't feel like they can affect change.
Right.
And it's just
Correct.
it's not a strategy that's new. In fact, it's the original governments from as far back as Rome and during the Greeks, they did not give power or voice to everyone. They gave power and voice to landowners or white men or whatever else, and nobody else even knew when it was happening. So as a result, they couldn't care, nor should they care, because they had no reason to care. I think, when it comes to there's no doubt that the USAT doesn't care. There's no doubt that the USAT doesn't want nor does it need input from people, right? So it wants athletes that are either quiet or unavailable. And you get that by not telling people when the election is. The side part of that, though, is you can also get athletes that are interested or engaged, but may not be your best athletes. So by limiting it, making the times exclusionary, making the time availability exclusionary, you get the group you want. And I think they're getting
And
exactly the group.
even within the group, like I remember when I did the AAC board a long time ago, and we'd be a little annoyed because you remember, Coach, we'd have to go out during training and we'd be standing out in the lobby for like 45 minutes, an hour and a half sometime in the training, and then come back in afterwards. But like even when I was just a part of it recently, that's not the case. If like they had something going on, or if it was during our training time, like we tried to moderate it so there were like free times, but it never people were missing and things like that. Like that was a tough situation overall. But like you guys said, it's the same thing across the board. Or like I told you before,
Well,
you
I
get things
also
late.
think that,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So look,
Well, what about when you get people like from like that are voting and discussing things that they have no idea about? So, for example, if I'm discussing things about Pumse, I have no idea what goes on in Pumse, and vice versa. Most of the Pumse people don't know what's going on with sparring, and all of a sudden they're talking about selection procedures or performance based results. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's weird, how some of that all goes. And TJ, like, I'm not even sure. Do they even have meetings in person anymore?
I don't know. I mean, everyone I've done was always either over the phone or on video or something like that. I've never had a meeting in person. And I think maybe there was supposed to be one. We were supposed to meet it like after some tournament or something, but like no, not normal for the AAC. Not to have like in-person meetings. Nah. And if it was definitely one, but everybody wasn't there if that was the case.
Well, that means nobody's paying attention. And like there's the USOC, if it's brought to their attention, there's always been historically a rule that has to have meaningful athlete participation, not just athlete participation, but meaningful athlete participation. And that means that athletes have to have access to, you can't pick a time when they're not available. They have to have access to timing, information, content, and true input. And if you don't provide that, and there are examples where they would do that. They would hold a meeting when they knew an athlete was, not just this sport, other sports, athlete was on their way in an airplane to, some international competition. Well, you've disenfranchised the athlete from we actually stopped. One of the reasons we got, the original Rebels, right? When they were trying to select the Olympic coaches for 92, we walked out. I staged the walkout because they were trying to do what they usually did. And we didn't want those.
We won't go.
We left the meeting. At which point the attorney pointed out to him, you can't vote. You're missing the athlete's vote. So all of a sudden it comes to negotiations. Following that, more interestingly, after everything was said and done and we got the coaches we wanted for World Cup, World Championship, and Olympics, I was in a bathroom with John Holloway. And as I'm standing in there, this Korean guy comes in, a young guy out of Washington. And he's kind of talking to me. And we had been enjoying the night because we had won and we were relaxing. And this guy's like, "Oh, I don't like what you did." And I'm looking at him and I'm like, he goes, "I don't think whatever." And I'm like, okay, you don't like what I did? All right, I'm okay with that. So I don't really care, but as an athlete rep, that's my job. "Oh, I don't like you. And he's like this. And I realize he's trying to intimidate me. He's trying to do what they used to do at national championships. They take other Korean guys out into the back and beat them up. So I look at him and I go, "Sounds like this is personal. Are you trying to make this personal?" In other words, I just want to understand, because if it's personal, I can handle that differently. I'll punch you in the face. And then all of a sudden, oh no, I go, oh, I didn't think so. So we'll just have to learn to disagree. We'll agree to disagree. So I tell Holloway what happened. So Holloway grabs me and he wants to find the guy, right? So we can handle him. But this was the Koreans' method of control. It always was their control back in the day. Hence why they're not running the organization anymore, but are trying to run another organization called Kukiwon USA. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. I digress.
Guys. I got a lizard. Get
A
away.
lizard?
For real, I got a lizard.
I was gonna attack by a lizard.
I know, bro, little lizard. Hey, I got a question because I know, you know what? I'm gonna tee this one up to you, Mr. Grandmaster Perez.
Again,
They have
nice.
a new form of equipment for a new Olympic Taekwondo,
Oh,
and it's
Jesus.
these beautiful gloves that look like I don't know what they look like, guys. What do they look like? They look like baby gloves.
Lego hands, like the little baby mittens.
No. This is what they put. They put this on babies so they won't scratch
That's what I
their
was gonna say,
faces
baby
when they're
mittens,
young.
yeah.
And it looks. Let me tell you who designed it. There was some genius in Korea who went like this. Oh, this will look very nice. Will work very well. They are grabbing too much and too muchy. So we are going to fix it. The best way to fix it. I bet it was Yang Jinban, that idiot. So
nah.
it was Yang
There's no
Jinban.
way.
Oh yes.
No.
The way we stop them from grabbing is we take their fingers and we cover it, and then they cannot grab anything. They cannot. Well, there's some other things they can't do. They can't grab. They can't fall and brace themselves. They're going to break their hand. They're literally going to break their wrist, and then they can't even their headgear. They'd be like going to the ref. Excuse me.
They can't. There's no way that
Can
makes
you
it to the
help me?
seniors. There's no way that makes it to the seniors.
Oh, and by the way, can you help me? Yeah, my ass is itching, and I can't itch it. Can you reach down and my cup is a little ajar. Let me stand up and demonstrate what needs to happen. Hold on, and they can't adjust.
Even like if their mouthpiece goes flying out their mouth during the match, or they got to get water in between. Like it's like so many.
No, they're gonna
things.
break their wrist. You don't understand. Like when you fall, your instinct from the time we were monkeys was to put your hand, your palm out.
I don't believe in evolution.
Yeah.
Okay?
No, there's no evolution.
Stop.
And so this is some guy in an office that never did taekwondo. Oh, his name is Cho, and another guy that barely did taekwondo and then started teaching at Yang Jinban, and all these clowns trying to come up with a way to fix a problem. Well, that's not the way you fix the problem. Fix the referees, and you don't need electronic scoring.
And
You don't
here we
need
go
gloves.
again. I mean,
But we're not being serious though. Like
you
that's
know
not gonna happen, right? I haven't completely like wrapped my mind around this actual idea that like made it out the lab into production, wasted money making these, and tried them on like the juniors or cadets. Like, there's no way they make the seniors wear these. There's no way.
You know who made these a long time ago? These came from karate.
We should stage a walkout.
Karate a long time ago. They had these flat things, and they were made by Jun Rhee originally. And you'd put your hand in them, and the thumb was covered, so you couldn't get thumb injuries, and the hand was covered. Well, they also figured out guys were getting injured because they couldn't do stuff that you normally use your. I mean, like, imagine you got a little itch on your face. Now you're like in a very
Nah,
Or the
Honestly,
girls fixing their hair. How you gonna fix your hair? Now we're gonna stop and let people. The refs gonna have to.
and now
tuck
you're
their hair
gonna have
in.
you joke about the we look like babies so we can't scratch ourselves. Now we're gonna look like babies because you're gonna have to send a referee, adjust our helmets, strap our shin guards, strap our forearm guards, tying our belts,
Oh yeah.
picking up the mouthpieces,
Yeah.
or,
Oh, yeah.
the coaches have to come in the ring. I mean, it's just gonna be.
I wish-
Yeah, but you know who's going to make them do it? I would make them do it. I would just make them do it for no reason. I'd have these jerk off gloves on. I'd be like, "Excuse me, can you help me? My belt is slightly becoming
They're
untied.
belts.
The belt that I don't need to wear for competition because it serves no function and it messes up the chest protector. But since you want me to wear the antiquated belt, could you please tie it? And then at the same time, I feel like my pants are falling down. Could you pull those up? And then there is a little scratch on my knee. Can you get that for me? And then wait, I can't. You want me to adjust my helmet? I'm trying. You know, I mean, it's just a level of.
I wish I would have saw some of the footage. I didn't see any of the actual fight footage with the kids using them, but
I didn't watch it
I
either.
can't
I
find
saw
it.
the little
I can't
pictures and
find
stuff.
it.
You want to watch something better than that? Watch the 2005 footage, 2003 footage, whatever it was, in Vietnam of the juniors tournament where they come to demonstrate the first electronic sparring gear, which was basically boots. And guys were trying to kick and step, and they were sliding and falling. It was like watching some drunk people trying to do taekwondo on a curling mat, you know, in the Olympics. It was hilarious. I watched this, and I just went, and by the way, it hasn't gotten much better. It hasn't gotten much
Well,
better.
again, I mean, I think the big point of this is once again, first of all, I don't understand. Like, I have my problems with the scheduling. I have my problem with rules. But like when you have equipment and stuff like this, they make they think they make a solution. But think about how just in 5 minutes we had 10 problems. We can't be the only geniuses in the world that think like this. So what are they doing? I mean, it's the same thing for electronics. It's the same thing now with these gloves. Like, stop it already.
Yeah, that's a
I
weird
mean,
one.
There comes a point in time, and this is Aristotle, Plato, it's the Republic. You serve different roles in your life, and Coach, we've talked about this a lot. When you're young, you're a student, a mentor or senior is supposed to take care of you and teach you. Then you become a warrior. You serve the Republic. Then you become a teacher, and you teach those that come under you. Then you become a torchbearer, and that's when you exit the building and you give advice if asked. That's what happens. These guys still have forgotten the role they're supposed to be. You got the WT is full of guys older than me, less experienced than me, and no experience in Taekwondo. And then they're positing solutions when they have no knowledge of the problem. They've never been in a ring where they've had to fix their headgear. They're sitting there going, oh, this is horrible. These guys are grabbing. How do we stop them from grabbing? We tried to do this. We tried to do that. Oh, let's put mittens on them. You know, like let's do better. Let's put electronic shocking collars on them so that if they grab, they get shocked. That's they're treating athletes like dogs. They're too stupid not to grab. So let's put mittens on them.
That's silly. Hey, you said something. Let me ask you quick. You said something about the belt. You would take the belt out of competitions?
You don't. The belt, when I trained, I would take, the only reason I wore a belt close to training was when I get used to feeling a belt under me. Then when I finally discovered, like the Koreans, the single wrap belt, it was better. Let's say three things that are true. One, the uniform serves no function. Two, the belt serves no function. Three, the chest protector itself, now it's scoring a function, serving a function for scoring, serves no function. You could put people in something they were more comfortable wearing for competition, and you could exit the belt because it doesn't. What?
Whoa! But you're being so contradictory right now, man. Because you're the one that doesn't like the new fucking uniforms. You're the one
That's what I was asking.
No.
That's why I want to hear this belt explanation.
I don't. Okay, here it comes back. Now you've put your foot deeply in your mouth, and let me pull it out for you for a little minute. I don't like the uniform. Now all they did was take the current uniform and decide to retool it to make it better, and the incarnations of that. And in their mind, better means how do we keep the form and function of the old one so it looks like a Taekwondo uniform and make it better. That's not the right answer. This is, we've talked about this.
I'm so offended that you wouldn't wear your black belt. I'm so offended that you would compete without your black belt.
No,
I have a ninth dan black belt. I don't wear it anymore. I put it on my head. I use it as a table cover.
What would you want to wear? What would you want to wear?
So here's what I'll ask. No, I'll get better for you. I'll get even better for you. So when you play any sport, I want you to think about the sport. The uniform, the outfit is usually, with the exception of women's sports, which were made for men, the uniform is form specific for the sport. Take track and field. Track and field finds the thing that makes them faster and better. Swimming, what makes them faster and better. Any sport that's got a component that's performance. If you can sit here and tell me that Taekwondo's uniform is performance enhancing, then you got me. No, it's a relic of the past that tries to honor something which was created by the Japanese. The original Taekwondo uniform and the chest protector came from Kendo. Kendo is the chest protector. The uniform came from karate. And they keep trying to keep holding on to the belt from karate and the uniform from karate do.
All right, hold on, time out.
I accept. I don't know. Okay, I'm listening. Go.
Skylo.
Do not
No.
question why, grasshopper.
I don't know.
Take the
I
pebble
don't know.
from my hand.
That was pretty good.
Let me get.
That was
Let
pretty
me
good.
get the
Yeah, that was a
pebble.
pretty good one.
Grab the pebble.
Okay, okay.
Grab it. Grab it. Oot.
That was pretty good.
It's
Hold
still
on, let me
here.
re-
Another 10 years.
That's pretty good.
No, what?
Look,
I
wait, look at
understand
this
that.
flying sidekick.
First of all, you should get rid. You should burn that cloud.
Those were
jacket,
some of my
okay?
favorite shin guards.
Wait.
Those macho white ones. Those were cool. When they
Macho made the
when
best
they first
stuff.
came out.
And by the way, Techno, may he rest in peace, had some great.
All right.
So-
All right,
and
Coach, all
I'm
right,
going to give
Coach.
you a blast from the. Hold on. Here's a blast from the past. You know what this stairway is?
Stairway to heaven.
Basically, this was the stairway that led up to Taekwondo. Had I not walked up this stairway,
Oh.
I would not be here with the two of you. This was the long walk.
That
All right, I'm
that was
back.
in
Go
that was
ahead.
in New York.
No.
That
Jersey.
part. That was actually in Jersey. There's a great podcast of Mark Williams that he just did with this guy Jose Lupo, where he talks about his journey with my instructor as well, and it's really. But
I remember-
anyway, I'll give you one last thing.
Yeah, I went to we went to New York when I was younger.
It's like Nako.
Master
Dude.
Sis first school kind of like they hit these long stairs that went
Oh.
up to the top. So it kind of looks that's what those stairs look like to me. So that's why that's New York.
You know why most of us
time out,
were.
time out.
You know, hold on. You know why most of us were on second floors?
Why?
The rent was cheaper.
Yeah, of course.
There's
Yeah.
no other
But-
reason.
All right.
Before
all right,
I
all right.
go to rip Mr. Perez, I gotta give him. I forgot I was there in the moment of the sacred moment of the
Oh,
Perez family.
man.
I felt like I intruded. I want to say congratulations.
All right, here it
Grandmaster
comes. Here it
Perez's
comes.
son was offered and committed to Cornell University to play soccer.
Oh my
What
gosh.
a great academic future for him, and what a great soccer.
What
for-
an
I was-
amazing journey.
I was on the
it
couch
was.
and I was crying. So I just saw their family. I heard the message. I heard the coach. I heard I can't believe it. It was amazing. So congratulations.
That's
I'm happy for
awesome.
you.
Well, yeah, I've been making
So-
you all sick with my dream of my son being able to play soccer somewhere that mattered, and it's actually a good story because this is the difference between coaching, and I'm with two great coaches here. We were fortunate enough that he was a decent player and he got a lot of looks from a lot of places, and we had great schools, literally amazing schools, and it's tough to be patient. We waited as best as we could, and we ended up with two great schools, really good schools. And the difference between the two schools was what the coach said. When we met with the coach and what he said and how he looked at my athlete, my son, and what he said to him, and then what he expected from him, and what he saw in him and his potential in the future is what resonated with me. And this is why I remind us as coaches, when you look at the athlete, Coach Moreno and I and all of us worked on this: athlete first, coach second, performance first, results second, right? And if you can remember that, then everything works out. And this coach saw the potential of Nico, not what he needed Nico for in his program, but the potential of Nico as a future athlete. And then, he saw that he said, if I can reach into his heart, that's what I want. And so, without saying too much more about it, the reason we chose that program, besides it being a number 1, 2 program in the Ivy Leagues and being putting kids on the pro team, and it was there was another program looking at them that came first, and it was a great program, and it was in a really great city and big city and a Pac-10 school, and the coach said Big Ten, and he said we'd like to. We went out there, saw the facilities were great, everything was great, and the difference was what the coach said. And when the Coach Moreno was there, I was crying. Like, he said what he said, and Nico's there, and Nico said what he said, and then the coach says, "Well, how would you like to be here?" And Nico's just like, I'm like, "Nico?" And he's just like kind of crying.
Cool.
So I was so proud that I could share that with Coach Moreno, because we have been in those moments where you make a part of your dream happen. And your first,
nice.
right? Like you, when you made the Olympic team, and when I made the Olympic team, and TJ, when you made the Olympic team, that's life memories, man. You can't. That's just a step, by the way, because now you got to go do your job, right? But at least you're in the room. So yeah, thanks for mentioning. But I wanted to share that about the coach, because for us, that was the difference. The university's hard to get to, right? It's like.
Yeah.
It's a bus, a train, whatever you want to get to. But thanks for the kind words.
That's
But back to the mittens.
Yeah,
All right, let me get back to you. Okay, so time out. Time out. So Mr. Traditional over there that
Hold
likes
on,
to
let me get
fight,
a.
that likes to fight and loves all the old stuff. And again, I
Yeah,
love it too.
yeah.
But I'm going to sit there and say that
Oh,
when it comes to the uniform, the new uniform is performance enhancing.
Hmm.
When they went to remember TJ when they first went to the lighter Adidas material,
Hmm.
and go back to when Adidas first came and Pro Spec came. Those were better uniforms, and now they made those Clima Cool ones that were better when you fought TJ, and now they got these. I don't particularly like all the form fitting, but in your going on your thing, Herb, they do make you faster. They're like tights. You kick faster in tights than you do in pajamas. Oh my gosh, P Diddy, no
that's
Diddy.
the uniform I want to see. I want to see this
Come on, but
uniform.
that's unrealistic.
What?
That's
Who
not
is
gonna
that? Who
happen.
is this handsome
First of
boy?
all,
What?
Who is that?
first of all,
What?
do you
No,
want to see
no.
some six? You want to see some 6'3", 58 kilo guys that look like Twix?
No, I
Man,
want
come
I
on.
want uniforms.
No,
What I would say is this:
we got the
let the uniform be the
You remember
choice
that one?
of the
You remember
athlete.
that one? They I forget what it was. One of the big events, World Championships or Grand Prix, where they modeled those the white short t-shirt, the shorts, the tights that went with it. It was supposed to be like the new sports uniform, and then people
yeah,
went
yep,
crazy, and then we ended up with then we went to
yep,
like the uniforms but
yeah,
stretchy ones. I wouldn't
yeah,
have mind
yeah.
the shorts and the t-shirt thing. Like for me, when it comes to that, it wouldn't have drove me crazy. If you want to put a belt on, put a belt on. But like that's how we
But
train.
again,
That's how we
I
work
just,
out. You know.
I just, well, it is, but I guess I'm going on the modern or the traditional side now. Like for all the people that fight that were wearing red uniforms and we got monkey punch and monkey kicks. Now you want to wear that gold, silly looking pajama suit back there
Nah.
because it look. I mean,
That's
I think we have.
performance enhancing.
Listen, I'm going to tell you real fast. In 2016, we were at the Olympic coaches, whatever training camp that we had to do before the Olympics, and they asked me to speak in front of Dr. Cho. This is when they first started. Um,
Doctor Who?
whatever, Dr. Cho. Then when they talked about the uniform colors, and I was like, and there was all these rule change stuff, and I looked and I remember looking at the technical director at the time, and I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna hold my tongue, and I just said, kind of in a summary, I said, Taekwondo has to have an identity. Boxers box, wrestlers wrestles, judo players play judo. And if you ask a judo player, wrestler, or boxer from 50 years ago, they know exactly what's happening right now. But in Taekwondo, we don't have a we don't have an identity. One minute we have 5 kicks, then we have 4 kicks, then we have kamjans, then we don't have kamjans. You can't fall, you can't fall. And now you think that putting a uniform, changing blue, red, or green uniform pants is going to make a difference? What's our identity? What's is our identity fish kicks and monkey kicks and sloppy punches? Maybe it is, but we have to have some kind of consistency. So I will go to a traditional pure standpoint right now and say Taekwondo had this, and then they had the V-neck, and now we have the heavy cotton, and then we had cool. Oh my gosh, what is
What is that?
Take it to all women. This is borax thong. This is the
I thought that
uniform.
was you.
you? Hold on,
No,
that's you. That's you.
I don't have that much hair on my
I
chest.
thought that
You
was
shaved
you.
it off, man. I've seen you have hair like
I
that.
thought it was
That's
you.
you.
It's crazy.
Scroll up.
I get it. I don't know. I don't know. I
man,
don't have a problem with it.
Calm down, boys. Calm
I
down.
remember the progression you were talking about, like where it went from like the heavier to the lighter. Then they had the ones that had the net on the back, so it dried faster. Blah blah blah. All those things. It all happened.
I like the net.
Yeah, I like the net too.
Yeah.
And it felt. I liked that it was still a little heavy. I liked the Taekwondo uniforms when they were a little heavier. It just felt more comfortable to me. I don't mind the new ones, but I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know. I think I'd always wear the belt. I don't care what my point was the belt. I don't care what you do. I don't think you can lose the belt.
Yeah, we have. I think you have to. Young. I think you have to have the belt because it's judo, it's jiu-jitsu. It's. I don't know. I think you have to have. That's what makes Taekwondo Taekwondo. And I don't want to get because people like you and me, we argue that it's a sport, but if we take it too much sport, then we're not bowing. We're calling people, hey, what's up, Herb? What's up, TJ? We've had podcasts where we've kind of said that's not correct. Let's keep some tradition. Let's keep some honor. Let's keep some respect. So I think with the uniform, I think you have to keep the belt. TJ, I thought I'm going to go back 2 versions of the Clima Cool with the little the I thought that was fine. I'm not a huge fan of these tight things,
But why
I
did
think they've gotten a little bit
did
better.
they go to the tights because they wanted to it was so you could see when people were holding or they wanted the pants to be light. Like, what was the original complaint? Why? What was the? Yeah, yeah.
It started out as a big penis thing. They went to the tights because there were all these rumors, and they wanted to make the rumors true or not. So they basically
What?
said, "Put the tights on, and we'll see what's underneath." That's it. We're always saying we have the biggest cojones. They wanted to know whether it was true or not.
But I remember the girls went crazy. The girls went crazy because they're saying like, "Come on, this is gonna look horrible on some of us, whether we're too skinny or too heavy." The guys are like, "Come on." I mean, it didn't look
Yeah.
right, man. So now think about like the Muto one, the Tucson one. I think that Adidas is about the tightest fitting one, but I think you can have this dry fitting material or whatever it is and kind of form fitting. I think it's
I don't
fine.
know. That
But
never bothered me. Like, just pack 2 uniform pants. Get your pants for the first ones, and have your second pair in there for the semis and finals. Let's go.
oh, Mr. Tradition over here. Look at Mr. Tradition wearing the I don't even want to say what that looks like. I was gonna say a bad
Before
yeah, I'm not gonna say
we
it.
go any further, I have to tell everybody the news. I don't think he's released it yet, but we now are joined. We have another ninth Dan amongst the Americans. I think he's number 8 in the world. He lives in Korea. Steve Kapner, Dr. Steve Kapner, double doctorate, double doctor Steve Kapner, who's recently retired from university, has received his ninth Dan. So he's now a Kooky
Congratulations.
One ninth Dan. He joins the realms of all of us who have done it. I look forward to you two young men doing it
Oh
as
no, I ain't
well,
never doing that.
What?
where you can
Never.
wrap your belt around and you can do your dance.
My choreo is still like this.
Straight like that.
But the so let me
I
ask
don't
you
do
let me
walking Santas.
let me ask you a question where this all comes
Everybody
from.
walking Santa sucks.
No, let me give you a question, right? And the question becomes, oh, look at this handsome devil. So
Guy, bro.
let me let me ask you a question. I'll go back to the picture you like. So in anything that requires performance, you're going to battle. You're a warrior going to battle. What do you put on?
Armor.
No, TJ, you were a warrior. You were in the army. What do you put on if you go into battle? You put on a traditional uniform from the Civil War.
No, but that's not the same. No, that's not the same. I don't think that's a
No,
good.
it's the same. It's the same.
Nah. Well, yes, but no. But I understand what you're trying to say.
What?
I don't think so. We're talking about Taekwondo uniform. You're comparing it to like army fatigues, and I mean, and those changed over time too. Those got heavier.
What
But
about
those
judo?
got heavier and lighter as well.
Look at Nico.
same
This is
reasons.
Juan Moreno's team, Inter Miami. Watch Juan taking to school all the Inter Miami guys.
Who won?
We did actually. We beat
Who
them.
told me they won?
No, we beat them in last year at the Next
We're
Fest.
talking about old stuff.
This year, yeah,
Why bring the bullshit?
because we got to play them again in a few weeks.
But yeah.
Go ahead.
No,
Go
I
ahead.
was just saying, I mean, and those changes, they've gotten lighter. They've gotten, they change colors depending on the climate, that if there's a war being fought in, those change consistently across. I'm just saying as far as
Dude,
the belt.
how is it different?
What do you mean, how's it different?
So, do you guys wear? What do you wear what do you wear in an army tactical uniform that's tradition and doesn't serve purpose, form over function?
I mean, I get your point, but like,
Okay,
I mean,
so I get your point. So what they're wearing right now is perfectly functional
It's
and more
functional. It may. Okay. I got it. Here's the first warehouse prize. Any athlete
nobody wants our
that listens
prizes.
to the podcast or coach can tell us that listens to this what their thoughts are on this. Do they think that they should they, oh my God, look at Nico looking over my shoulder, smiling with a smug look. Should they be ask the athletes, if you had a choice of what you could wear during fighting, what would you wear? What would you feel? Like
Okay,
I can,
but that doesn't.
go ahead.
But the bad thing about that is like what I would wear is different. What you would wear. You said you would like to wear tights. I don't wear tights. I'm too skinny. Okay, I like wearing basketball shorts because I feel like I can
Okay.
move. I don't like to wear so, but you can't just have anything. You have to
No,
have some
no.
kind of uniform. Don't you?
It goes back to me. All I'm saying is go back to figure out what's performance enhancing. I'm not saying, and like was the wrong word. It would be, what do you think would be performance enhancing That's a better word. I agree.
But what do you
The
think?
better word is
What I mean, you never
performance.
answered. What do you think?
Yeah, you
Like,
don't.
what would the uniform other than the belt? Let's say the belt's an option, but what would the uniform be
I
like?
don't like. This is Dr. Capner and I sparring back in one of my camps with Juan Moreno's in this picture too. I don't want to bring up this memory because he broke his hand in this one, but
I did.
you did. This is a old school. The look what I'm wearing though. So let's look at what I'm wearing. I'm wearing a t-shirt. I'm wearing safety equipment. I've got my pants up over my calves because my calves are massive, and I don't like anything pulling on my knees.
But
So
we
if
did
it
that
were up
because
to
y'all did that
me,
and we thought it was cool. It wasn't. I didn't really think like we lifted our pants up because everybody before us lifted their pants up and it was above your calves.
this
You
would
kick
be
fast and move.
this is performance enhancing for me, and I think you look at that and this is performance enhancing. I've got shin and arm guards on. And by the way, this would look good. If you came out with shin and arm guards that looked and felt good and functioned, and those would be fine. The headgear's on. I'm not saying a t-shirt, but I'm saying that this idea that the shirt has any function. And you will notice I'm not wearing a chest protector because given an option, I wouldn't wear a chest protector. Who is that handsome guy right? You see that face? Coach, look how good. You still look the same. But hold on a second. Let me see what you're wearing.
Wearing sweats and a t-shirt.
Yeah,
No,
because
no, but
you're skinny.
we all, but we all dress like that, and people still do dress like that. They still
Yeah.
do. It's comfortable. So what I'm just saying is the current uniform. Again, I don't particularly like the tight ones, but I think the form fitting ones, the material, it slides up your knee. It's very light. It's very comfortable. I mean, I like putting my shin guards on the outside so I can fix them easier. Blah blah blah. I just don't think it's that bad. I don't think they got that all wrong. To be honest with you.
I don't think it's that bad. And I think that's probably a good, I mean, that's a good way to say it. But what I will say is,
Getting back
I,
to the gloves.
I think,
No, again, this whole thing started was the gloves create our. If that's what they're going to use, they're going to create more problems, just like the electronic chest protectors did, just like the uniforms. I mean, we just keep spiraling down. But these gloves, I mean, I love KPP. I really think KPP is the better product out, the best product out right now. But that's a bad. That's a swing and a miss right there, man. That's a
Yeah, I don't think
strike.
it'll make it to the
Yeah,
seniors though. I don't even know. Like I said, I wish I saw the footage, and I'm hoping it wasn't just like a demo match that everyone's talking about. But they posted it like they were proud of these gloves. Like it was like a WT post or
I
something
just.
like that. Like it wasn't.
What about the new form? Have you seen the new KPP? It's kind of got like muscles on it. It's
Mm,
kind of got like form
I
fitting
like
on
that.
them.
I
So
like that.
I like that one because your arms go. It doesn't go over your head, and I think it's more.
Well, if KP&P is listening, my club just purchased the other version, whatever it's called, Dado, because that's what everybody's using. But if KP&P is listening and they want me to try their product, I'm more than ready to try 2 of their chest protectors. Send me 2 chest protectors. I'll give them a shot. Send me muscles because I need muscles. So I'm good to go with muscles, but send me some muscles for my chest, and which I've always struggled with.
I like the back.
But
I like the back because it doesn't
this is
tie.
a picture. This is a
yeah,
picture of Dr. Capner pushing the boulder during his ninth
I
ton
can't see
test.
anything.
You can't see
yeah, it's
it?
off to the
That's
side.
it.
It's off
Yeah,
to the side. We can't see it.
Yeah. He's over here on the
yeah.
he's over
Yeah.
here. I'm squishing your head. I'm squishing your head. So he can yeah, I'm so happy for him. I don't disagree. I mean, there's a place for tradition in everything we do. But I think there's a time. I think there's a time for evolution, and I obviously think there's a time for revolution. So if the world wants to fix Taekwondo, it needs to evolve from its original ideas on what scoring was, should be, and what the martial arts should be, and it should have reverse engineer back to that. It's time for a revolution because it's clear that the current leadership is incapable, unwilling, or not bright enough to do it. And either of those 3 are not acceptable. So we need an evolution and we need a revolution. So what we don't need is capitulation and cooperation because that obviously
That's
hasn't worked.
words, Johnny Cochran. That's a lot of words right there.
Dude, I'm not even done because let me get to the Kooky One USA. Talk about capitulation, taking a U-turn on a dead end. Kooky One USA, I mean, that cracks me up. 7th and 6th degree kids of Grand Masters running organizations I mean, these are guys I wouldn't let them carry my bag when I was training. These are guys I never even saw in a gym when we were doing taekwondo. And now they want to certify the instructors in this country because their dads did taekwondo. And by the way, their dads didn't do taekwondo except for one that I can think of, and he's not a ninth degree. So,
Herb, let me ask you something about this, and maybe TJ, you can chime in too, because I know we kind of bag on that, but what about like even in like again organizations and stuff like that, whether it's USAT, AAU, WT, PAT2, like there's some sense of you talked about those levels of people that you start out student, even warrior, blah blah blah, but like how do you guys feel about like people that just rise up so fast, just because their father is somebody, or because they've been in the right place, and all of a sudden they're running organizations. Like, isn't that like it's just it's strange to me. And I'm not one of these old guys like, oh, I've been here for 30 years, I should be my turn. I don't agree with that either. If somebody has it, whether they're young or old, they should be able to lead like any sports team or any corporation. But I just feel like there's a lot of people recently. I mean, we talked about this with our USA Taekwondo. A guy goes from media to CEO. It just seems a little bit strange, and that's just me being directly honest. I have no problem saying that to anybody, that wants to listen to me. But talking about Cookie Wan, talking about Pat2, talking about WT, talking about AAU, it's a weird time that people are just going from nothing to something. I don't know.
So go ahead, TJ.
I mean, it's the backdoor deals. It's the things I do this, you do this, we do this, we all do this together, and then it's all the same shit on repeat over and over and over again. It's crazy to me because that goes back to what's the word you like to use, the nepotism, the nepotistic nepotism, like And I agree with you when you said that, Coach Rain, about like I've been here for a long time, so it should be my turn. But when you're on the trail and you're paving the way and you're doing things and changing things and organizing things and literally doing things above people's pay grades that they don't even understand how you got there from where they're standing, that's when I start to have an issue. Yeah. That's when I get a little crazy because it's like now we're literally just choosing whoever we want at that point, like always and like normal.
I heard a podcast that I was listening to, and this guy said something like someone that was pretty successful, somebody that he listens to said, "You're going to be in trouble pretty soon." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, and this guy's like kind of philosophy kind of guy. And he said, because you live in an old garden. He's like, you have your friends around you. You guys are having fun. You are successful. You've achieved things. You help people, and you want to be loved. You like to enjoy life, but people see that and they get afraid because they can't get in. So what do? They throw rocks. What do? They make backdoor deals. What do? They try to do anything to circumvent you, even though what you're doing is right, so that they can kind of have this power undeservingly. And I thought about that. I'm like, that's kind of a microcosm of what happens in our sport. Like in Taekwondo, you have these people that do these things and get to these positions. I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse because we talked about that with coaching positions and coaching, what do you call it, nepotism of just trying to help my friend. I mean, it's sad. I don't know. Some of that stuff, makes me a little bit frustrated, and yeah, I don't know, a little bit crazy.
So we go back. We've had this conversation in different ways, and
sorry, bring it back up
for different reasons, and so you got to ask yourself, and it really is simple. What it is should you be? And this is a problem in everything from politics to everything else. Should the best people be running organizations, meaning a meritocracy? Prove you're the best, and if you are the best, then you should. Or should the one who's willing to stay in the room and do the backdoor deals be the one running the organization? And too often, the people that are bright, they just say, I'm done. I can't get anything done here. And I can think of a current change in one of these organizations recently where a guy who was good for the organization, was running it well, did all this. He left the room because he said, I don't need this. I got better things to do with my life. And so, you know, you end up with that. I'm a meritocracy guy. Let the best person lead. I don't care where they're from. I don't care who they are. I don't care what their nationality is. I don't care what their
But shouldn't you
accent
have to
is.
have been proven that you can do the job that you're accepting or do the thing like you know?
That's the best.
Like,
That's the best person. You're saying the same thing I'm saying. I'm saying the best person. And how do you get the best person? They come with a track record. You don't just say, "Oh, I'm
that's
the
the
best."
point. That's what I'm saying. Like it just doesn't make any sense if they've never. A lot of times they've never done it before. They just get a position and they're learning positions and learning how to do things while other people actually know how to do them already or have done them already or been successful at doing them already. It makes no sense to me.
Or some kind of track. I heard that's a great right there track record. And TJ, we talked about this before, kind of privately. I was talking to one of my athletes. If someone, I said, there's a lot of coaches, and I was giving him examples in his small lifespan. I'm like, that people have been popular and and everyone was talking about them. I'm like, where are they at right now? Because their track record was a short time. There's a lot of people that can make an Olympic champion or a world champion or national team members in a short time. But like that doesn't necessarily mean that you haven't figured it out. It means you're good right now. Maybe it means you have a good freaking athlete right now. Maybe you have somebody special. But if a director has been able to do this over years, been successful over a number of years, that's the track record. And that's who you go to bat with. So it's meritocracy with the track record. Because if it's just meritocracy, someone that has a little success goes, I did it. Yeah, you did it once with so and so. We can compare results all day long. Because I mean, TJ, how many times do we go to opens and people get on the stand and they had a buy, they had a fight,
Yeah, that's
somebody
that.
bowed
That's
out, and
now.
all of a
That's
sudden
definitely hardcore now. You know, and then we put up a picture.
now that happens a lot
And then we
now.
put up a picture of third place. Look at this. The picture under is crazy, but yep,
That's kind of funny underneath
yep.
that.
This is just so everybody can be clear. This was the USA team coach at a world event, and this was his thank you to the public and the international players. And then underneath, he's characterized himself as
San Diego.
Hmm.
He's a women's
yeah,
vagina.
yeah. Anyway, good on ya, good on ya. Bangers and mash. But
Yeah.
let me get him off my screen because it makes me sick.
Hmm.
But meritocracy coaches is exactly that. What I'm saying is you need a meritocracy in the sense that you define what that means. So in coaching, right? In coaching, you say, no, it's not enough because, yeah, we all know. Like, I watch all these posts from guys, oh, I developed an Olympian. No, you had an Olympian. An Olympian came in your school and trained with you in raw form and somehow made it through the process to go to the Olympics. Do you have 12? Do you have 2? Do you have 1? Do you have, and they're called one-offs. We had a rule on the U.S. team, and it was the first time you win, it's an accident. Second time you win, it's a legacy, maybe a destiny. Third time you win, that's a legacy. That's when you matter. You've proven you can do it 3 times. Once is an accident. Twice, you're a team member. 3 times, now you matter. And the people that have been on the U.S. team, you know what I'm talking about because a guy came in the first year, a girl came in the first year, is like, yeah, you got here. And I know how some of them made it there. They got lucky. They're on the right side of the draw. Somebody else got hurt, whatever, especially back when we were fighting. Now you get there 2 or 3 different ways. We're fortunate, all of us. I've been through no less than 4 or 5 team trial procedures. I fought in no less than 8 different types of qualifications at a world championship. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, match this, match that. I fought at nationals when you fought at 8 in the morning till 12 o'clock, and then you fought again at 12 o'clock at night and have to fight the next day. You had to wait that long, and there were 100 guys in a division, and it was, 2-day event, right? I fought in 7-day events. Now, once you do that and you've proven yourself, and this is where you got to give Stephen Lopez some credit. He fought, just like most of us, he fought an even more qualification process with electronics, without electronics, So he's got a lot
It's
of other
crazy
problems.
how important not getting injured was back then too. Like that was a part of the game.
be
You had
durable.
to be durable. That's the word. You had to be
Gotta
durable.
be durable.
To fight as many matches that day and to fight at that physical level all day and like the competition level. It's a whole different beast.
Now you want to see a chest protector. This is how you wear a chest protector.
Why is it so little?
Count Young, young,
Notice where the belt is. I got my belt on.
Why is it so little though?
young. Actually, check
Yeah.
check this out. Doug Baker came to
Yeah.
one of my seminars in Chicago, and he did it. He did the seminar.
Good for him.
He did the whole. I was like, he did the whole seminar. He's like, oh, let me run, let me kick. He's like, I gotta learn how to do this shit. I gotta learn how to figure this out so I can coach it. I'm like,
Good
dude,
for
I give him
him.
a lot of credit. He was awesome, 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 awesome. Shout out to my man Doug Baker.
But he says some dumb stuff on the internet, though. He says some. I defriended that guy. I got to be honest. I like him as a fighter, but I defriended him because he says he's offended so many people that I know on the internet about his
You know,
thoughts.
I don't unfriend anybody, but there's a couple.
Oh,
Listen, I know sometimes
I unfriended him.
I know we have some different people, different political sides and stuff like that. But man, I tell you what, there's some people out there that say some crazy. Actually, I'm gonna send both of you guys things privately. We can talk about it next week. A guy that wrote something or said something 30 years ago before social media. I want you to hear him talking about left and right and different things. Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. It's so good. I'm gonna send it to you guys after this.
Cool.
You'll love it. But
This
anyway,
guy, this was the
my
Copa of the America that I went down to, where
Oh,
Messi and all those guys was playing. This guy had a pair of Taekwondo pants on. I don't think you can read it.
Oh, we can't see him. Oh yeah, it says that's the F word. Fucking awesome. What's the other? I can't.
Yeah, that was it. The pants had a patch on it, and that's what they read on him. He was standing right in front of me, so I took a picture. I'm like, what?
That was a
the-
soccer game.
yeah, that's fun.
That was
Yeah.
the Copa of the America.
Oh.
Yeah, where I almost got killed by every
Yeah,
every
Colombians were going nuts.
They were oh my God, it was ridiculous.
That's when they broke into the stadium and stuff.
Yeah,
was
I
nuts.
took my
Yeah.
life in my hands going to that event. But what a great event for my son to view, right? So maybe one
Let's
day
wrap this up,
he'll get to do better than the current American team is doing. We'll see.
Struggling, man, struggling.
I
Keep
mean, I
open
think we've opened up some can of worms, and we still have yet. I know you guys are reluctant to do it, but I think we have to come up with some solutions. Like on the uniform, believe it or not, I'm actually working on a version of a uniform now, and it's not necessarily it's not for competition. It's just like to take. I'm making the same mistake. I'm taking the current idea of a uniform and trying to make it better, and I don't think that's the right way to do it. But I'm at least trying, right? Calm down, people. Calm down. Now, don't look. I'm going to cover my.
You know what's funny? DJ, I was gonna say something about the glove again real fast. So that glove is horrible. I mean, I don't even think you need gloves.
Yeah.
No, you don't need gloves. No,
We don't need gloves.
no, you don't need gloves. First of all, you don't need gloves because none of these guys can punch. They punch
I tell you
like
a story.
They punch like girls in a schoolyard.
But, hey, when I came back I in 2000,
Ah!
But that's the referee's fault
1982, I
too. Look, what'd you say,
I
Coach?
watch these guys. There's a coach out of California. His dad used to be a competitor, and I watch him put up these ridiculous videos where the guys are, and he's teaching them to punch like this. And I'm like, I wish you would punch me like that. Please punch me like that. And I'm like watching this guy. This is what he's putting up on the internet. I don't want to mention his name. He's out of California, and
Do it.
I'm not going to mention it. It begins with a V. And he's like, and I'm like, you're teaching this? This is what you're teaching? Like, have some respect for the art your dad did at a high level, and have some respect for the country you come from, and teach them how to punch right. Then teach them how to score, whatever you think, an idea of a punch. Because right now, referees are scoring the idea of the punch, right?
Yeah,
So you got to show them, here it is. It's coming from way back here, just like in a movie. Watch it. Here it comes. And then I'm going to do it like this so it'll make a sound instead of this.
Well, the
When-
ironic thing, Young, is like people key up only when they punch now because that's the one thing
Right.
that
the ref
referees
can do.
actually
Yeah.
score. Yeah, yeah.
And I would keep on the kick. But here's the thing. I've been punched by people that can punch. Like Naeem Hassan, he could punch. Like he punched me in my chest. I wanted to cry and die. Right? This guy was an amazing puncher, right? So like like these guys can't I'd stand in a line. I'd line them all up and let them punch me. And I just without a chest protector. I'd let them back kick me, to be honest, without a chest protector. These guys can't back
I
kick.
don't know.
I watched
how old
these
are you?
drills. You got no.
I don't
You,
know.
if you
I
bet,
don't
no, no.
know.
If you're holding one of those little shields, you're holding one of those little sissy shields, and you're back kicking. Take a walk.
That's because they've made it all about foot placement and all this stuff. I don't know. For me, but for
Oh,
me, I'm just
stop.
letting you know why it sucks.
Hook
I'm
kick
just
to the
letting you know.
body. You guys come here next time. You come, try to hook kick me in the body.
I'm a score. I'm gonna
Please.
put up 2 points
Well,
for
no,
sure.
you're gonna score.
go reverse
I'm gonna break your
inside
ass.
spin hook.
I'm gonna kick you as soon as you try to hook kick me to the body. I'm gonna break your ass.
Wow, too fast.
You might have 2 points
too
on the board, but I'm gonna have
fast.
2 points on your
I'm gonna
ass.
spin and make it 4.
Just so you
I'm gonna
know.
spin and make it 4.
Like,
Um,
oh, yeah, I got something for your hook. Here we go. This is what you're gonna look like after it, right there. Like,
no, but that's for me. I would take punches away altogether. I hate how they are a part of the game. Like very seldom I'm like, man, that guy deserved that punch point. Not about it being good or bad, just like it just. I don't know the inconsistency. You'll see the big punch score.
that was the original career. You got to talk to Dr. Capner, 9th degree Dr. Capner,
And everybody
grandmaster with me
everybody
now.
talks about the coaches. Like it just some score, some don't, some do, some yes, but like
The Koreans purposely took punching out because they didn't want it to look like karate. So the original idea was you take
But now
punching
it's
out
back
of
in.
this, back in the day, and then on top of it they put on a kendo armor, which was bamboo strips, because we were so deadly that you couldn't survive a kick. But then you watch the UFC, and obviously that's not true. I do
Muay
have-
Thai.
Yep.
Hey, but you know what? It's funny because you watch para taekwondo because I actually worked with para, and if you think about that you can punch,
they don't
but
score.
it doesn't score a
Yeah.
point, and it's just fine. It's just fine. You watch para; those dudes.
But what's the logic in that? Like what's the logic in that? Like you can punch, but it doesn't score.
Because some people have arms and some people don't.
I mean, some people have longer. Like again, don't get me started with pair is like a little for me. It's like I've watched events where you see like someone with no arms. You know what I mean? And you see like someone with like full arm, but like I don't know. I know there's like what do they call them, classifications and all that stuff like that. But
I am not biting on this.
But if someone
I
can't
am
punch,
not
then both
biting
people
on
shouldn't be able to punch because punching still could hurt. If you can punch, and you know what I mean?
No, you can punch the score or to follow
Yeah, but
up.
what if I
So
can't punch because of my disability?
Yeah, so
Like
that's why they're taking
Yeah.
out. That's why they're taking it away from a
Yeah.
point.
I hate punching
I'm
altogether.
gonna eat my orange.
I hate the punching altogether.
I like punching, but they don't score it right.
Yeah.
But I
Well-
like kicking and they don't score it right. I like spinning, but they don't score it right. So we'll go back to where we were in 1995. I mean, I like kicking and punching, but if referees knew how to score real
We
points,
wouldn't be here.
they could.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be here. But
So
we are. and
I'm going to give you something which I recognized a long time ago. 2025 is as far away from 1985 as 1985 is from 1945.
yeah.
So just to put in perspective, so when I talk about 85, 86, 87, even 92, imagine like somebody talking to you about with you back in the day and you're like, in 1945, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I gotta go with the flow and let 40 years be 40 years ago. But I go back to the one thing that I'll say to both of you. Has the technical regimen, has the technical arsenal, has the paradigm elevated or digressed? That's it. And that's why we're in a kerfuffle again.
There we go.
We're definitely in a kerfuffle.
Yeah, but I mean, again, that's debatable, young, because me and you both agree on the fighting and the explosion and the toughness and the meanness and the timing and the subtleties of the sport. But these kids can kick, they can
Yeah.
run, they can round, they can fast, they can double, they can spin, they can back hook kick, they can narabon, they can do stuff, young. I'm talking the good level. You're right. I'm sure there's a bad level, but I'm gonna go against my grain right now because I was in your era and stuff like that. There was a bunch of bad people too.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, there
Right,
are always
and-
bad people. Oh yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
There's some bad people,
And
Yeah.
but I
There
know
was
what you're
one.
like-
There was one person who was terrible at taekwondo, and she won 10 world championships or something.
She won
couldn't.
Olympic gold medal.
She couldn't kick.
Oh,
she
you're
she
talking about
literally couldn't kick. She was 900 feet tall and couldn't kick.
I know a person that won Olympic gold medal didn't score a point.
what?
I'm very familiar with her. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Anyway,
But
It's true.
guys,
True. All right. Well, it's been an hour and some odd time. We don't want to kill everybody with this amazing wisdom that we partake in and share with the world. Any closing thoughts?
I just want to know who did score a point. I'm sorry.
It's if you know, you know. Won the entire Olympics without scoring a point, and also was one of these mind people. like
No, come on. It
positive
gets better.
affirmation.
It gets better. Young, do you remember the Olympic trials? Got KO'd.
Got KO'd, and that's on video. Got KO'd and got lucky because the ref didn't know what happened. The ref went like this. But that almost happened to me. I won't mention the person I did it to, but there was a person that I knocked out in team trials, and the ref and everybody was standing there like this. You'll see me in the videotape going, count, like start counting, because I was afraid he was going to get back up. I was like, you better count. He got a 20 count and didn't get up. So the refs were bad back then, like I was like, because literally you could see me, because like I had no interest in him getting back up because I knew the politics involved, and he didn't get back up. But I was like looking at ref, because ref's like this. That didn't go to where he was supposed to go. But yes, it's true. The one you're talking about, she got KO'd, out-O'd. Well, it happened at World Championships in '87. Korea got knocked out by Sweden, and the Swedish coach was so overwhelmed, he ran into the ring and grabbed his player and was carrying him around. So the ref spent 30 seconds getting him out of the ring, at which point the Korean the featherweight kind of musters some energy up to get up and gets through the match somehow. But it was true. And I was like, rule to the coach, have a seat, which Mark Williams was coaching me when I knocked this guy out in team trials at collegiates. And Mark just stood up.
Like when we talk about more knockouts,
jacket.
when we talk about more knockouts, real quick, when we talk about more knockouts, like the people that were getting knocked out back then, was the level comparable? Because I feel like now when we get big face shots, the level is usually like so far offset. You know what I mean?
You don't
like
have any big. Well, you don't get face shots. You don't get any face shots here. People get kicked in the face and they look at each other. If I watch a tape of a hook kick, a back hook kick, and I'm talking about you. No, hold on. I'm talking about your best player on your team right now. He back hook kicked somebody in the face and had a little celebration for himself. He should go slap himself in the face. He hook kicked a guy in the face and nothing happened. If we hook kick somebody in the face, they were down on the floor, unconscious, carried out on the stretcher 9 times out of 10. Nobody gets hit now. Their feelings get hurt. Somebody gets a nose pass by, and he's like, oh, what was that? Oh, it was a foot in my face. No, watch I watch the highlights because the only thing I can watch. And I'm like, they're like, oh, what was that?
So you don't see any good shots? You don't see any good shots or any like spectacular taekwondo or like timing stuff? None of that from anybody?
The last thing I saw, and it was a good guy against a beach ball, was the Mexican guy getting knocked out by the Nadaban. That was
the Mexican guy
knocked the other guy out. Yeah, he was fighting a beach ball. He was fighting a beach ball.
That was my question. Where like was when people would get knocked out, like you talking about your era, your time, was it like comparable? Like they both were monsters.
Not every time.
Warriors?
Not every
like,
time.
What was like? Did that happen?
Not every. Well, like there's a friend of mine. I don't want to mention this because I mentioned it in a seminar and he was in the room and I didn't realize there was an amazing knockout of two really good guys fighting each other in the Asian Games. And that was like, good night, sweetheart. And they were good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you got to think about it, TJ. Did you get knocked out?
Nah, I got hit pretty heavy a couple times.
Don't. Why you hesitate? It's either that's a yes or no question.
Because I've got hit hard,
all
knocked
right.
out.
Juan, did you get knocked out?
Yes. So I did get counted out. Remember the world qualification when I got back kicked low and they counted me out?
Dude, that's why
they counted it as
that's
one.
That's why we got gold, silver, bronze. Okay, that explains it. Coach, you ever get knocked out?
No, I've never been knocked out.
You got knocked out?
When I was a yellow belt, 9 years old.
No.
Oh, that's okay. Good players against good players don't get knocked out. Good players knock out less good players.
No, that's not true, though. You knocked out somebody very good from Canada. From what's his name? The black guy.
I knocked out a lot.
Player.
Yeah, he's a great player.
He was a good player. You got him.
No, but I'm saying it's actually harder to knock out a bad player because a bad player is just trying to survive, right? Good players, they will take a chance, and if that chance doesn't pay off, which was the case with the Canadian, who I still have a lot of respect for. We fought 5 times. It happens. So, but yeah, I mean, it's not always the good guy knocking out. Listen, I saw a good player get knocked out at the Olympic Sports Festival by a terrible player. Like the guy just was dying, losing, and he did this weird jumping crescent back hook kick and knocked out a friend of mine. And I was looking at him like, dude, what are you doing? Right? Like he got killed for the rest of the tournament, but he at least got through that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, enough of the knockout stuff. My bowl of fruit is empty. My cup of espresso is done. And may we all continue to push the rock up the hill on Warehouse 15. And remember our admonition and our advice to you. If something we said potentially offended you, sorry, not sorry. And none of the accents portrayed in this podcast by yours truly were meant to mean derogatory, but they are kind of true and accurate. So don't be upset about it. It is what it is, baby. Truth is truth. All right.
Later.
Peace.
Peace.
Later.